Hi, my name is Christian Praler. I'm a junior in computer science who transferred from Red Rocks. Here at Mines, I'm involved in individual research and robotics. I study computer science because I believe it's one of the best ways to positively impact others. I welcome you to this CS Mines Python video. Today we're going to talk about the basics of using strings in Python. But first, let's start with a quote. Any fool can write code that a computer can understand. Good programmers write code that humans can understand. This is really good advice. For example, always use variable names in your programs that make sense. Recall that a string is a type of variable in Python that allows you to store a sequence of characters. There are two ways to use strings in Python. You can either wrap the string character in single quotes or wrap the string character in double quotes. So what's the difference? We'll come back to this question later. For now, let's talk about special characters. Sometimes you need to have a special character in your string, like a double quote. Of course, if you include a double quote in a string, Python may interpret that as the end of the string, which may not be your intent. To avoid this, we use a special character, the / special character, which Python interprets as an escape. Take a look at a few examples of special characters on this slide. Some of these we have seen before. This slide shows an example of using special characters with an escape. Notice that the string has 4 / characters, but not a single / is included in the output. So let's return to our question of whether to use single or double quotes with a string. What you choose is certainly your choice. One tip, however, allows you to eliminate the need for the escape / character. That is, using single quotes means you do not need to escape a double quote character in your string. Similarly, using double quotes means you do not need to escape a single quote character in your string. Otherwise, the two ways of using strings have the same behavior in Python. So whether you use a single or double quote is a programmer's preference. You can think about strings as a list of characters. Do you remember how to access an item in a list? This can be done with strings too. Thus, in this example, accessing the string my name at index 0 will print out the letter J. But, unlike lists, strings cannot be modified. For example, you cannot replace the letter J in Jack by assigning the character T to index 0. Doing this will result in an error. This is an important difference between strings and lists. Lists can be modified in your code. Strings cannot. Similar to lists, you can iterate over a string. The code shown on this slide will set the variable char equal to each character in the CSCI 101 string. The code then prints each character on a new line as the for loop executes. Also similar to lists, Python has several helpful built-in functions for strings. Suppose we have a sentence and we want to separate each word in the sentence. By calling the function split on a string, a list containing each word in the sentence will be created. In this example, Python is really cool becomes a list of 4 strings, each of which are stored in the variable word list. Notice how we call the split function using the dot operator on our string variable. This allows us to use a function, for example a split function, that is specific to a certain data type, like a string. When is calling split on a string useful? As you know, the input function returns a string containing the line that the user typed. Often you need to split that input. For example, suppose you had code asking the user for their name. In this case, you might want to put their first and last name into 2 separate variables. The join function does the opposite of split. In addition, join allows you to specify what you want to use as a separator between the strings being joined. In this example, we create a variable for the @ symbol. We then call join on the variable used as a separator. We then pass in the list of strings that we would like to join into one continuous string. We note that we are just using 2 words in this example. The join function can take any number of strings in a list with a defined separator. Python has a lot more built-in functions for strings. Take a look at this example on the slide. What do you think the snippet of code will print? As you might have guessed, the lower function will convert all uppercase letters into a string of lowercase, and uppercase function will convert all lowercase letters into uppercase. Let's go over some other built-in functions for strings. IsDigit does not take any parameters. The method returns true if all characters in the string are digits, otherwise it returns false. In the example snippet of code, the first call to string isDigit returns false because there are characters in the string that are not digits. However, when isDigit is called on the slice of the string starting at index 4, it returns true because 1, 0, and 2 are all digits. Likewise, the function isAlpha returns true if all characters in the string are letters. Otherwise, it returns false. As seen by the example on the slide, it does not matter if the letters are uppercase or lowercase. IsLower also does not take any parameters. The function returns true if all characters in the string are lowercase, otherwise it returns false. Notice the presence of non-alpha characters does not affect the function call. IsUpper behaves the same as IsLower, but evaluates to true only if all the alpha characters are uppercase. It's now time to practice some of the concepts you have learned in this video. We encourage you to pause the video, launch your Python interpreter, and write the Python program listed. We hope you now have a better understanding of strings in Python. We encourage you to practice creating strings with special characters, iterating through string lists, and calling different functions on them. The more practice you do, the better understanding you'll have. Thanks for tuning in. See you around campus.